Hello everyone, this is Manish Yadav, your English teacher, and welcome back to the online class. Today we are going to start from where we left. We are going through fourth chapter of Flamingo book, the Rattrap. Rattrap. The moment when Hadler was invited to the master's home, he refused to go there. But when it seemed to the ironmaster that he could not convince the paddler, he went from the mill and told his daughter to convince the paddler because he identified him as Nilsson of his old friend. Once he was an army in, regimental school. The lady came, means and master's daughter Adla will mention came there along with her valet. Valet means you can say servant. Okay, and she convinced the peddler to go along with her because it was the eve of Christmas. Okay, 24th of December, and next day they were going to celebrate 25th of December as Christmas Day. So she had a great persuasion and quality of convincing someone. So she finally convinced the peddler to go along with her. Now, what happens next? She in turn, followed by a valet carrying on his arm a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty. Okay, by the external gesture or posture of that lady, we can say that she was not pretty well by externally. Okay, but internally she was very polite, she was very generous, she was very honest and full of affection. Okay, she came along with a valet, a servant. The servant was having a big fur coat on his arm. Okay, and he seemed modest and quite shy. In the force, everything was just as it been earlier in the evening. Everything was as usual as it was in the evening in the mill. And the master blacksmith has apprentice still sat on their bench, and the iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace. Okay, there was two personality, two members who were working, Master Smith and his apprentice. They were at ease on the bench sitting, and charcoal and iron was glowing in the furnace. I mean, we could hear the sound. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head as his hat pulled down over his eyes. Okay, this transit, the paddler, he was lying very close to the furnace because he needed heat and warmth. Okay, so he was lying on the floor along with a piece of pig iron under his head as he was using it like pillow. Okay, and his hat pulled over his eyes, and he was covering his eyes with the help of his hat over the face. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him, the moment Adla will mention caught the sight of paddler, she came very close to him. Okay, she went up and lifted his hat. She removed his hat. All right. The man was evidently used to sleeping with one eye open. Evidently, she found him while sleeping with one eye opened because he was a thief, he was a paddler, he was very conservative with thinking. So he was afraid of being arrested, caught by cops. So he was evidently sleeping with one eye opened. He jumped up abruptly and seemed to be quite frightened. He jumped up, he hopped up. Suddenly, he woke up because it seems that he is afraid of something. But Adla will mention was very polite lady, and she was very experienced lady. She has a great sense of thinking and observation. She thought that either this man has escaped from the jail or he has stolen and run away from somewhere. Finally, what happens? My name is Adla will mention. She introduces herself to the paddler by saying her name that I am Adla will mention. Said the young girl, my father came home and said me that he wanted to sleep here in the fourth night. Said, I was told by my father that Nils Olaf, his old friend, has come in the mill and he wants to stay tonight here. Okay, and said, I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. I am very sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time with you. Okay, I have come here to to carry you along with me to my home because it is Christmas Eve today and we are going to celebrate Christmas Day tomorrow. So I want you to be at our home. And very, very sorry, Captain, that things have gone downhill with you. And just, I am very sorry to see you in this hard time of yours. She looked at him compassionately. You can say she was full of compassion, emotion, and uh, you can say passionate. She has a passion. Uh, with her heavy eyes, then she noticed that the man was afraid. Okay, she could observe that the man, Adler, was afraid of something. What she notices, either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail. Either he has stolen something, and definitely he stole 30 kroner from the old man's hut or grey cottage, and he ran away from there. So her observation, her notice was exactly correct. Now, and added quickly, you may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you came. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. I don't mind. Okay, you will be allowed, you'll be permitted to go as you have come here willingly. Nobody had called you, however, still you are in the force. So willingly, you'll be allowed to go from my house. Okay, nobody will be there to disturb you, to stop you, and to criticize you. Okay, but only I want you to stay with us to celebrate Christmas Day. Now, she shared this in a such friendly manner that the Rattrap paddler must have felt confidence in her. Okay, as I told you that Adla Williamson was very persuasive lady and she had a great quality of convincing somebody. Okay, she was enough confident to speak her own statement so that the next person who will be the listener will also be confident with the statements. So the paddler became so much confident with her statement and finally he began to think to go along with her. Now, it would never have occurred to me that you would bother me yourself, Miss Hisham. I'll come at once. Okay? It is going on with me first time that somebody is bothering for me and you are bothering yourself to look after me, to give hospitality, to harbor me. So just I am thinking to come along with you. Finally, he agreed. He accepted the fur coat which the valet handed him over and with a deep bow. He accepted the fur coat as a gift which the valet gave him by bowing his head in the honor in order to give him honor and threw it over his rags and followed the young lady out to the carriage. Finally, the paddler followed the lady accepting the fur coat and they left from there. Now, without granting astonished blacksmith so much as a glance, but while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Why the devil did I take that fellow's money? While riding on the carriage, the paddler once again stuck with those foreboding thoughts. What? Why did I steal the money? Why did I steal 30 kroner of that fellow? He was confessing and regretting, though it was in his nature. However, when he found himself in critical situation, in uncomfortable zone, he regrets loss. Okay, while riding on the carriage, he was thinking so. Finally, what happens? Thought now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it. He seems to be in rat trap, and it seems to him that he will never get off it. He'll never escape from it. Now, the next day was Christmas Eve, and when the Master came into the dining room, the breakfast, and he probably thought with satisfaction of his own regimental comrade whom, whom he had run across so unexpectedly. The Master came to the dining table. He was very happy to see his friend Nils Olaf over there because finally his daughter convinced him and he came to the Ironmaster's home. And it was a great pleasure to celebrate Christmas Eve along with his old friend who had been once in army as comrade. Now, first of all, we must see to it that he gets some little flesh. Okay, Iron Master tells his daughter, first of all, I want or would like to see some flesh upon his body because he was very miserable. He was very thin. He was living very miserable life. So there was not enough flesh upon his body to be looked smarter and handsome. Now, Ironmaster, he said to his daughter, who was busy at the table, and then we must see that he gets something else to do than run around the country selling red traps. And Ironmaster was also thinking about a business, about job for Niels Olaf, for that paddler, that he'll not be wandering here and there for selling his red traps. Okay, we must arrange a business, a job for our friend. Okay, so that he'll be living a comfortable life, not selling red traps, wandering here and there. Now, it is clear that things had gone downhill with him as badly as that, said the daughter last night. I did not think there was anything about him to show that he had once been an educated man. Adla Wilman says that, unfortunately, things had gone downhill with him. Okay, I mean, God has snatched pleasure and wonderful moments of his life. But at last night, when I met him in the mill, there was nothing to observe that he once had been an educated man in his life. Means he had been once a comrade in army. It doesn't seem over there. Okay, ऐसा नहीं दिख रहा था. Now, you must have patience, my little girl, said the father. Just wait for some time and he'll be as usual as he was in his old and prosperous days. As soon as he gets clean and dressed up, you will see something different. Definitely, if he'll change himself, if he'll be dressed well, if he'll be shaved, if he'll be cleaned, there will be another look of the man. Okay, and you will see. Last night he was naturally embarrassed. Actually, he was ashamed, embarrassed. Last night, different last night, and was naturally embarrassed. The tramp manners. The tramp manner will fall away from him with the tramp clothes. As he will be dressed up, the tramp manner, the miserable manner, the manner which he was having at last night will be vanished, will be disappeared. As he will have great or good looking dress. Just as he said, the door opened and stranger entered. The moment when and master and his daughter were talking together. Meanwhile, the stranger entered into the room. Now he was truly clean and well dressed. The valet had bathed him, cut his hair, and shaved him. Since he was finally ready to celebrate Christmas Day, he was, he got shaved his beard, he got trimmed his hair, he got, a bath. Moreover, he was dressed in a good-looking suit of clothes which belonged to the ironmaster. इसके अलावा, he was wearing a suit which belongs to the ironmaster. It was a well-fit and fine dress suit of ironmaster, and he wore a white shirt and a snarled collar and whole shoes. Okay, means whatever he wore, everything belongs to the ironmaster. जो भी वो पहने हुए था सब कुछ एंड मास्टर की था इसलिए वो बहुत ही बेहतर दिख रहा था. He was looking smarter. Okay, now just as but although his guest was now so well groomed, the and master did not seem pleased. But the moment when he entered into the room, he was looking smarter, he was looking better than the previous appearance. However, it did not please the ironmaster. He did not seem to be pleased. Why? Because finally he recognized, he identifies that he is not my old friend. He hesitantly thinks that he, mistakenly recognized a wrong man as his old friend. Actually, he is not his friend. He looked at him with puckered brow. Surprisingly, or doubtfully, he was looking at the man strangely, and it is easy to understand that then he had seen the strange fellow in the uncertain reflection from the furnace. He might have made a mistake. The man who was identified as his old friend was not the real one, and he thinks that I have made a mistake at the mill. Mill में जब मैं furnace के around, when I saw the man lying around the furnace, I definitely had made a mistake to identify him. मैंने निश्चित रूप से गलती करी है क्योंकि ये मेरा दोस्त नहीं है. Now, Uh, it when he stood there in broad daylight, it was impossible to mistake him for an old acquaintance. And when the pattern was standing in the daylight, it was very clear, visible. It was impossible to make another mistake. Finally, he recognized himself that he is not his friend. What does this mean? He thundered. That master got angry and began to thunder in his home. What is this? It seems to our master that he should have identified or introduced himself as he is. He should have told me that he is not my friend actually, but they did not give him time to speak about. If he thought, he would definitely tell him that he is not his friend. अगर वो सोचता, वो उसको बता देता कि वो उसका फ्रेंड नहीं है, but कहीं न कहीं Badler भी इस लालच में पड़ ही गया था that he is a prominent and master of this mill, so he would definitely throw some chronor upon me. तो ये भी कुछ chronor हमको देगा. कहीं न कहीं यही लालच थी जो उसको मजबूर किए रही. He was compelled to introduce himself. Now, well said, the master. Sorry, it's my fault, sir, he said. It's not my fault, sir, he said. Badler tells Ironmaster that it was not his fault. ये उसकी गलती नहीं थी that he has come to your home, कि वो तुम्हारे घर आया हुआ है. Finally, he was compelled and he was forcibly enforced to be convinced to celebrate the Christmas day. उसको जोर जबरदस्ती करके लाया गया. Willingly he was not coming. I never pretended to be anything but a poor trader. I was a poor trader. I did not show up. मैंने कोई दिखावा नहीं किया to be anything else, कुछ और होने का, except a poor vagabond. मैंने एक गरीब घुमक्कड़ होने के अलावा और कुछ नहीं शो किया. No. And I pleaded and begged to be allowed to stay in the forts. And I pleaded, I requested to be permitted to stay only in the forts. I did not come there to be invited as guest as Nils Olaf to celebrate Christmas Day. मैं तो सिर्फ आया था उस फोर्स में एक रात गुजारने के लिए, लेकिन मुझे जबरदस्ती यहाँ पे लाया गया. But no harm has been done. At most, I can put my rags again and go away. But no harm has come. Nothing has come. Nothing has happened yet. अभी कुछ नहीं हुआ है. Just let me put my rags again and I'll leave from here. और मैं यहाँ से निकल लूँगा. अभी बात बिगड़ी नहीं है. At worst, well, said the Ironmaster, hesitating a little, it was not quite honest. ये ईमानदारी नहीं है. It is not quite honest. You should have introduced me at the same time. उसी समय तुम्हें बताना चाहिए था कि तुम मेरे दोस्त नहीं हो. You must admit that. तुम्हें ये बताना चाहिए था. And I should not be surprised if the sheriff would like to have something to say in the matter. और मुझे इस चीज में कोई प्रॉब्लम भी नहीं होती that the sheriff would say something in the matter. इस मामले में अगर शेरिफ कुछ कहता भी है तो मुझे इस चीज में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी. The tramp took a step forward and struck the table with his fist. Now he began to thump, with his fist on the table. He got angry. Who? Tramp, you can say, paddler, ragamuffin, vagabond. वो आदमी गुस्से में आ जाता है और अपनी fist से टेबल पे थपथपाता है. Next, you will know in the next lecture. That's it.